I greet you, our viewers, and welcome back to Unwealth Conversation, hosted here on Unwealth Money TV. It's always a pleasure to have you. Today, we are focusing on the conversation around the behavior psychology of money. My name is Japheth Otieno, and in studio, I have a very important and knowledgeable guest to speak to us. Welcome to Studio, Mercy.
Thank you, Japheth. I'm happy to be here today.
Great.
Yeah.
Maybe just to introduce yourself. I know sometimes when you talk about yourself, you make it better, but in case you miss anything, I will emphasize.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Amuguni Masiga. I'm a family coach. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I work with people on matters to do with their life skills, to do with behavior, to do with working through their challenges. I'm happy to be here. I'm also an author. I've authored 2 books, 3 actually. One of it is Money and Me. I hadn't told you that.
No,
Money and Me is a financial literacy book for children between 5 and 14 years. And then I have Let's Bond, which is a family guide to health, wealth, and happiness that just teaches family how to come together and make time for each other and how good it is for mental health. And then the first book I ever did, which I co-authored with my husband, is called Life Beyond Embarrassment, The Psychology of Mind Rebranding. Yeah, I think that's much about me.
Wow, thank you. We will be talking about the books in a short while. And I like the content. I just like the content. We'll be just diving into that shortly. But to just start off, I know you've walked a journey with a few people in employment, and you must have experienced those who've been in active employment and have then been sent to retirement. In your experience, what are the psychological stages that they go through just after the retirement?
Retirement is a very interesting journey for many people. You take in mind that this person may be at between 20 to 24, they got into employment.
Yes.
And then the big chunk of their life between that and 60 or 55,
Yes.
they have to go back home. This person has developed a routine of waking up in the morning with purpose. I'm going to work, these are my targets. I'm going to work, these are my friends.
Yes.
I'm going to work, these are my expectations. And then retirement comes.
Yes.
And retirement is sort of a cut, it's a loss.
Yeah.
I would say in a way it can be a grieving process if someone is not prepared for.
True, because they have lost friends, they've lost, the
Yes.
working and everything. Yeah.
They've lost that purpose they wake up to every morning. They have lost friends. And some of them have lost an escape route because at times home is not as conducive as the workplace.
Yeah.
Workplace, we have structure, which you don't have in many, many homes.
Correct.
So this person is going back to a place where they have to redevelop relationships. And you're developing relationships with a spouse who has advanced in years, just like you.
Yeah.
Or with grown-up children, which is harder than with the younger children. So I would say retirement for people who are not prepared to is much more of a grieving process. You will go through the denial. And then one thing I'm forgetting, the
Yes.
money that's been coming in.
Yeah, true, by the way, the income.
Yes.
Monthly.
Your retirement benefits are not anything compared to the salary you have been receiving.
Yes.
So you are at the point in your life where maybe you are dealing with physical health issues because of the advance in age. You have less money. You have these people that you have to rekindle the relationships with. And it becomes a grieving process for some people. You deny, and then you get angry. And some people get depressed. Well, those who accept end up having a good season in retirement. But those who live in denial end up very bitter, and very bitter at a time when you are almost closing the years of your life, makes it hard even for people who are around you to live with. And just to go to Erik Erikson's stages of psychological development.
Yes.
Most people in retirement at 55, 60 and above are approaching, are at the boundary of the generativity versus isolation period and
generativity and isolation.
Yes, generativity versus isolation. I'll come back to that in a little bit.
Okay.
And integrity versus despair.
Okay.
Generativity versus isolation is a stage that starts around 45 years and goes up to 60 years
Okay.
in someone's development. Well, plus or minus, because people don't develop the same. And the integrity versus despair starts at around 65 years of age. Generative versus isolation is where many people in midlife crisis find themselves, where
Okay.
you are trying to develop more projects, trying to get more new friends, trying to get meaning out of life, trying to advance, make a name out of yourself.
Legacy building and all that.
Yes, and well, it's actually generative versus stagnation, and some get stuck here. If your job is not giving you as much money and the life is not giving you as much meaning, then the midlife crisis, you feel
Okay.
stagnated when you're supposed to be generative. And then after that stage comes the integrity versus the despair, where you sit back and look at the life you have lived.
Yes.
Either in gratitude and thanksgiving, or with the regrets of, I should have done this, I should have done this, I should have done this. So retirement covers these two stages. When someone may have faced stagnation, and then they get into retirement and they face despair, looking back. I have wasted the years of my life. I should have had better relationships, should have invested better, should have done this, should not have done this. Or you are grateful, you are thinking, well, I did what I could have done, and now I can go through my old age happily. So that's it with retirement.
Wow.
That comes around it.
I like what you just brought out, the issue of at the age of 65. So you're now thinking and evaluating your life,
Yes.
and saying, I think I wasted my earlier years, or I think I made use of my earlier years very well. And so you're either regretting or
Yes.
you are grateful.
Yes.
What has been the statistics like? Are many people regretting? Are many people grateful?
Well, many people sadly regret. The same way statistics also have it that many people die in the first year of their retirement because of that lack of meaning, because of that feeling like your routine has been interrupted, with the failure to cope with the living of the job and many other things. Many people will succumb. We'll say some of them to lifestyle diseases, some of them to natural causes. But mentally, there's that struggle that comes with having left the big chunk of your, in quotes, youthful life
Yeah.
behind you.
Behind you.
Yes.
I like that. So talk to somebody who is just starting right now, and their plan is to be grateful. They're saying, okay, I've now learned, I now know that you will either regret or be grateful, but my plan is to be grateful. What exactly are the key things that they are doing right now that will result into them being grateful at that time?
Okay, someone who is starting, I would want to know, starting retirement, starting their work life, starting their life.
25, they've just started.
You have gotten into work.
Yes.
Well, when people get into work, it's good to give them time to acclimatize. It's good to give young people some time to be young,
Yeah.
I know we would really want to force them to have their life together. And it's good to give them the lessons. Tell them, start saving for retirement right now. But at times, the rioting, as long as it's not excessive, helps them a little bit discover the futility of life. But I would say, whatever you want to do with your life, always do your church tithe and your self tithe. They say savings is tithing to yourself.
Yes.
So okay, let me put a tentative number. If you giving the 10% into CSR or into the church, then give yourself the 10% as you grow. It may not be much at the beginning, but it will allow you to be able to experiment and know how much can I keep to myself. When I do financial skills,
Yes.
the interesting bit is they look like skills in isolation.
Okay.
They look like financial skills. But if you come to dissect them slowly, you'll discover they're just life skills.
Okay.
Saving is the skill of delayed gratification. And which we need to teach our children, not from 25 years, but from 2-3 years.
Okay.
When they learn, I cannot have everything I want now. When I was talking about the Erickson stages of life, you'll
Yes.
discover that at every stage of life, there are skills someone develops, and skills are cumulative. They build onto each other. The good thing about life is you can always pick it up from where you are
Okay.
and rebuild whatever you're supposed to build and still be successful in the end. That's a very good thing about life. There's grace. You can always pick up from wherever. But skills should be picked from when a child is born to. So let's say a 25-year-old
Yes.
was never taught delayed gratification at 2 years.
Yes.
They will, of course, struggle. I'm saying they'll have a bit of rioting around that.
Yes.
If they get the good gang, they get the good education, they get the good mentorship, they'll be able to know I don't have to get everything I want now.
Okay.
I can save, I can live within my means, and I can still be able to sustain the life that I want and at the same time be able to prosper. So get into employment telling yourself, I can tithe to myself. I can have that fallback to in case I have an emergency or in case I'm growing old, I'm able to have something to hold on to, because when retirement comes, the retirement benefits might not be there or they might not be sufficient for you. And now when you start the savings, money is interesting. A topic for another day. Money is interesting in that savings is one, investments is another one.
Yes.
So savings might accrue the interest you want to accrue.
Yes.
Investments might be hard at the beginning,
Yes.
but they end up growing your money and your character faster with time
Yes.
than savings would. So just having that thought at the back of your mind of knowing, I have my life in my hands. I can make decisions today that if emergencies don't occur, I can look back and be grateful and say I did the best for it. And emergencies do occur.
Yes.
Yes, and it's also good to measure the emergencies.
Yes.
Not all emergencies are our emergencies. You have an emergency that you know very well, I have to. It's good to prioritize also.
Yes.
I have to chip in.
Yes.
You have an emergency that you can tell yourself, we have to chip in, as in I can leverage on several people to chip in. You have an emergency that you can look up and say, this one I can give social support, but I don't have that ability to chip in. So also knowing those priorities,
Yes.
which is the value of life skill of, I told you everything is a life skill.
Yes.
Which is the life skill of knowing the circle of your control. We have the circle of your control, you have the circle of your influence, and you have a circle that is outside both of them.
Okay.
So it's always good to ask yourself, is this thing directly in my control? Is this thing what I can influence? Is this thing out of my circle of control and influence? So we need to apply that when it comes to money, because if you get to a point where every emergency becomes your emergency,
Yes.
then you end up saving, but you end up saving in a container that has holes. You will end up asking yourself, okay, so where did my savings go to? And instead of being grateful that you helped, you become bitter that you helped. You even start
Yes.
getting angry with the people that you helped because they asked you for help when you had the ability to say no and you didn't say no.
Yeah.
So it's just knowing the intricacies of balancing life. Yes.
Wow. Thank you very much for staying on course. An interesting conversation. We are taking a break on the first part, the conversation revolving around psychology at retirement. We will be back with more conversation on the same. Stay on course. But remember to like and share this video within your circle for more knowledge. Thank you.